like less than 4 weeks. It's apparently the first pretrial meeting, and it's been crazy, man. We literally been waiting since like mid-September, and it's been pure pain since then, just
It
waiting.
went by, honestly, I think it went by pretty well. For me, it kind of just flew by. I was just busy with housework and stuff, but like, I don't know. I think it just kind of
Yeah.
flew for me. How do you feel about that? You think it kind of dragged
At,
through?
at some certain points, for sure, started flying by, but not in general. It's just pure pain. Like this is
Yeah.
literally the longest
Yeah.
delay that they've ever been given, the biggest punt. And
I hope
dude,
I,
I don't know. I'm
I
trying
hope
not to
it's the
jinx it or
last.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Well,
Um.
let me know if you want to make just one like a just one, I don't know, something, a little video right before the hearing, just to see like what's gonna happen. Is it
Yeah.
gonna go down?
Yeah.
Are we
I
ready?
think we're gonna get a lot of, so looking forward to that. I think we're gonna get a lot of answers on the 29th, because maybe by then the defense will file for some other appeal to delay the thing,
Yeah.
or maybe the judge, I forget his name, is it Marcus or Cohen? Maybe one of them. I think it's Marcus. um Marcus or Cohen finally like say that they're done. They're not going to grant him any. They're not going to grant the defense anything else, because
Yeah.
they've again they've just been given the biggest like punt of time. I wonder, man, but I think for sure by the end of the 29th we'll have more answers. We'll have more, a better idea of whether this thing is going to be delayed again, and for how long, and or if it's going to start. And yeah, who knows, man. But let's it's so very clear the dude has not been asking for a speedy trial. He has lawyers. These lawyers have represented freaking Kevin Spacey and out and Harvey Weinstein. And this it's a even if he does get out or something like that, so completely unglorious. Took forever. On just all this shit has come out, and it's just not going to be pretty. For the members, it's not going to be pretty because they're going to be way more stricter on y'all. And then for people like us who are going to be hurt by that, it's not going to be pretty, but it's going to re-energize a lot of people. Everyone's going to be shaken to a big extent, and I just hope that I don't know. It just has to come to a close. It just really
Yeah.
has to. I think it's been incredibly painful for a lot of people, and some
I
people have like
think
lost their lives in the process and everything.
I think that since Alondra Ocampo has already pleaded guilty and she's gonna do some sort of time, I'm assuming that Son, if she's already admitted guilt to some of the stuff that she's involved with this guy, I mean,
Hmm.
some of that stuff has to involve Nason to do some time as well. Like, I don't know. I don't know how the law works, but
Yeah.
um, I definitely don't think this guy's gonna get out anytime soon.
Hmm.
If it all comes to worse, it might get delayed, but you know, um, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'll take a delay, any day over him getting out for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, either way, we have stuff to do, and that we got lives to live, and we just got output to put like this, just out there, just to freaking bother people, just to get into people's heads, just to let them know that, just to clog the search feeds and let people know that, hey man, you're not freaking crazy for feeling crazy. You're not crazy for feeling crazy for the past 3 years on this crap.
yeah.
And whenever
They're
he does
just
come out, it's not gonna be glorious. Absolutely not glorious at all.
Yeah, I think the reason why I felt like I was going crazy was because of my head was just like deprogramming or just going through stuff that I was not used to, being outside my comfort zone. Um, at that particular moment, I wasn't really too attached with members anymore. I was kind of like keeping my distance, and I started to really socialize more with like people from the outside, people from work. I made a lot of more. I got really more close to like a lot of dudes who like I game with, and seeing their input on everything. People who don't know this guy, who don't hate him or hate the nobody, they're just giving me their solid input. And it just, the more I did that, the more it made me feel like more human. Uh, I'm human. What I'm trying to say is like just more of a like normal mind, and it just really helped me out. And it really helps, guys. If you're going through the same thing, which I know a lot of you are, it just really helps. Talk to people and just get information, get your whole, see their input and ask a lot of people, as many as you want to, ask 200 people, and out of those 200 people, they're all going to react how you're reacting toward the situation. And you're going to feel pretty good about that. Trust me. You're not going to care that they're not from church because you don't want, if you ask members from church, you know what they're gonna give you. Just you know that side. If you ask people who are not members, they don't hate the church or whatever, or they don't know the church, they're gonna give you a solid answer. So I think that's something very important to do. Something I wish I would have done, um, and which I did, but it took me time. But if you're really dealing with this situation where it's really bothering you, start to do that. Start reach out to people, reach out to people who you trust, and just tell them, hey, I'm going through this. I just really want your
Yeah, for
input,
sure.
and it'll really help. I mean, I know with us, since we're we used to be members, I guess I would kind of like disqualify it. But if you don't want to ask us yet, or really reach out to us yet, because of they're sensitive about it, reach out to people that like in school, in college, in your work, in your gym. Just reach out, people who you trust, and see their input, and that's gonna really help people build up this like sort of like um, I guess kind of build a new mental muscle, to put it that way, or just some sort of like security to yourself, to make you think and realize, what, you're perfectly fine. It's just your brain. You have a really good brain, and it's just working properly, it's functioning properly, and you're going through a part in life where you know
Hmm.
I feel like it's reached its peak. Your brain can only take so much, to where like this is just fucking weird already. So um but anyways, yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna unfold as far as
Yeah,
members
man.
activity. People getting out, people asking questions, uh, people being more active on social media. People like what's that, coming out from La Luz del Mundo. I know a few members from Fresno now. When I first got out 3 years ago, it was very scary. There was not really a lot of people out, and then I met you, and I'm so happy I met you. People reached out to me, and it's cool, and that's the best thing about it, when you finally realize that this was a fucking cult, like the whole 9 yards, and you're meeting people from La Luz del Mundo, and then you can talk to them and be like, dude, yeah, I remember that, and dude, that's crazy, and that's like the best feeling. I remember I would be so happy, bro, when we first had our first talk.
Hmm.
um I was just happy, dude, that I because it's cool to talk to members who are not from the church, but it's way better once you meet finally someone who went through all that shit, and you guys can just relate so much. You get through. I remember I was full blowing out, and I would be just surrounded by like members, and I just felt like in a way I felt like fucking cool, like because you guys don't know what I know, and you guys don't know. But
Yeah.
then I felt cool in a way that I'm so glad that I'm not a part of this whole trap anymore. And then I
Hmm.
felt bad. I felt bad, and just a lot of thoughts. It's weird to explain it. But I'm just happy. I'm happy that I don't have
Hmm.
to put up with all this shit anymore, dude.
Yeah. And people, can convert themselves into assets. Someone can become, well, what I became for some people, where just so someone knocked, certain things knocked the dominoes in my head, and then I started knocking dominoes in other people's heads, and like I know particular people who are of good stature within the church that I grew up in,
Yeah.
and they got out, and I'm pretty sure that like blew, was a punch to the gut to a number of people, and it maybe didn't get those other people out, but still, like, it was a punch in the gut. Like, people need to realize that uh they themselves have weight when they get out, and then when they actually start speaking out and start playing for the other team, because it's a zero sum game. Like, it's a direct loss from those people, from that from the Joaquines, their financial base and all that. It's a direct loss to them, and you can convert yourself into a freaking asset that harms them even more. And you can, and who knows what, you could maybe get the rest of your family out and start getting another family out, and it's all like, little grains of sand that start transferring from one side of the scale to the other, man. And just once it gets like that, just little by little, it starts tilting, and we destroy this thing. And and, and dude, this is just one cult. Like, this is just one little dumb piece of shit cult from a piece of shit neighborhood in Guadalajara. No offense to these people, but like, this is just a dumb little group from one dumb little neighborhood over there that just sprawled out in the way that it did. And hey, man, there's freaking other cults out there, man. Like, don't fall into them. But also, like, when we're done here with this group, if we're ever done with this group, man, there's so many other places where
Yeah.
people like us can act and just make the world better, man. Like this is like I read history and whatever, but like this is what the abolitionists did, bro. Like back then, bro, the freaking abolitionists, bro, the United States enslaving millions of freaking people, bro, enslaving them, separating families, freaking torturing them, extracting so much labor out of them, building this country up to a crazy amount. The freaking expansion of the United States across the continent, stealing half of Mexico's land, bro. In 1848, they stole half of Mexico so they could go enslave people and build build more cotton. The odds were stacked against like abolitionists, bro. And these people were just writing newspapers and talking shit and not wearing cotton and all that stuff. But little by little, like it blew up. It blew up, and it's the same thing here, man. Like people gotta recognize that they have weight with their actions and all that stuff. And this is why we do it, man. We're just trying to make this a better world. Make it better than we found it.
Wow. Yeah.
Sure, man.
When I hear you talk like that, it makes me realize like how important it is to do research. That, and just as far as like the country, whatever. But like, imagine if they people apply that to just La Luz del Mundo, and that's something I did once I broke out and everything. I really dived into like the true foundation of La Luz del Mundo and with Aaron Joaquin and how he died. Is there any records of how he died? Which there isn't. And there's so many, like, you start to see or hear, and listen to people who were alive in his time, and they know other information that it starts to make sense with what happened this day, and then you put that together, and then you realize like it's just crazy, bro. Like, I didn't even realize there's a video, I mean, a voice video where Samuel is literally saying that his dad chose him to be the next. He didn't even say apostle. He just said to guide the church.
Hmm.
His dad chose him. His dad picked him, and the fact that his dad was this like uh guide of God or whatever. That's the reason why it was validated. Samuel, there's literally him saying that, and goes that literally goes against what they teach you guys. But you guys probably have no idea that this tape exists, and it does exist. I've heard it. I think I can find it on YouTube, but it's just crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Dante Mandela or Luis Carlos
Yeah,
Reyes has uploaded it, but they upload so much, so I'm not too exactly sure where to find it. But
yeah,
and even that, like, that little recording apart, I know for sure that, strictly speaking, when you really talk to members and stuff, that you can learn that these members don't I know for sure that in the history that you can learn that the members, when Samuel came into power, he wasn't calling himself apostle. He was calling himself a prophet. It was only over time that he started warming up everyone to the idea that he was an apostle.
right.
Um, and that's just these are just stupid lies and an amplification of lies from like the 60s, the 70s, and like people back then didn't freaking address it because if people were calling them out on it to the extent that they should have been and could have been, maybe we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now, where now we think that the apostle can raise people from the dead and all that crap.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
we and just like they're telling us to cut, just like they're calling us snakes and telling us to cut them off at the head. Like you gotta do the same thing back to them, man. Like you just gotta call them out on this stuff. And
Yep.
um
Yeah,
yeah, man, it's a bunch of lies. It's really troublesome. And the fact that these people can get away with these sort of religious lies and tall tales and all that stuff doesn't say anything about them. It doesn't say that they're magical or anything. It says something about like human beings being susceptible and comfortable and bystanders to not calling this crap out when it happens.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that falls into like um members are pretty much they're they're just they can't say nothing, or they choose not to because they've been already they're so used to just, oh well, I just need to ask God for more understanding. But I think it's reached its peak. I think even as bad as the pastors try to do that, more and more members are starting to like realize that that is not okay. That's not normal. Like if we have questions, we have the right to just ask. You know, we shouldn't be we shouldn't be put through this in this category of apostata just because you have a few questions of the apostle or the case or whatever. Like, it's just falling apart, dude, and it's just literally falling apart.